There is nothing quite like scrolling through social media, feeling like everybody you follow is getting the opportunity of a lifetime working with their dream brands while you aren't. Meanwhile, you're showing up regularly, consistently creating content, jumping on trends to reach more followers. Maybe you get more engagement and views than some of the people you're comparing yourself to. So why aren't you getting brand deals? Or if you are landing some here or there, why aren't you getting the quantity or caliber that you'd like to? It's because the brands don't see your value. And I know that can be really devastating to hear, and please don't confuse that with me saying you don't have value, because you do. I know you do. It's just that the brands don't see it, and hopefully this video will help fix that. But first, we need to make sure you have your bases covered. Are you doing the work to be found by the brands you want to work with? I cover this topic extensively in this video, but the spark notes is that you need to make sure that your email's in your bio, you're using hashtags that brands are actively looking through to find creators to work with, and that you're actively creating content that helps make your page look like a portfolio of your work. And if you've watched that video and are doing every single thing on the list, then that means that brands are probably finding you, coming to your page, not seeing your value, and then moving on to the next. It's incredibly common for influencers to equate their value with their audience size, with a ton of creators pointing the finger at their following size when they're looking for a reason for the lack of requests in their inbox. But as a creator who had her first $70,000 year with fewer than 9,000 followers and has seen people with hundreds of thousands of followers who are struggling to get anything more than PR packages, I've learned that your follower count, though a piece of the puzzle, is one of the smallest pieces, especially when it comes to working with larger brands who are very experienced in influencer marketing. I actually find that it's usually the smaller brands with less of a budget who get super caught up on your audience size. So what do the rest of the puzzle pieces look like? How do brands determine our value and whether or not they want to work with us? Well, if they're coming to your page and not reaching out, there are 3 things that they're probably not quite sure of. So 1, they're not sure what you do. I've already shared my thoughts on niching, and this is why it's so important. I know we are multifaceted humans, and as creators, we want to fulfill the lifestyle niche. We want to do everything, work with all the brands. But a brand coming to your page needs to pretty quickly identify the type of content you create. This is why even if you aren't a fully niche down creator, you should still have a few key categories that you are known for. And this can be communicated to brands in 2 ways. 1, writing your niche or your top categories in your bio. This is also great because if brands or PR contacts are searching on Instagram for creators in those niches to work with, you'll show up. And the second is to actively create content in those categories. If you're wanting to work with skincare brands, they shouldn't have to scroll months back in your feed to find an example of skincare content. And what you do doesn't just need to be broken down by a niche or a product category. It needs to be clear on how you tackle that niche. Do you do reviews, aesthetic content, educational content? Influencer marketing campaigns have really advanced in that brands have gotten really specific on who they want to work with. A hair care brand who's launching a new innovative serum might not be looking for just anybody who talks about hair care. They might want to look for a creator who is the go-to source for hair care education, someone who loves talking science and ingredients. Whereas maybe if they are launching a new gel or style product, they're going to look for creators who are known for making really aesthetic looks. And when it comes to making it clear what you do, you also need to look at what makes you stand out. What is it about your approach to these categories or this niche that makes you different and would make a brand want to work with you over somebody who is just doing really cookie cutter influencer content? The second thing that could be stopping a brand from reaching out to you is that they're not quite sure who you're speaking to, who your audience is. It's really important for brands to be able to identify your target audience so that they can make sure it matches their target audience. And I know as creators, it's really easy to say, I'm talking to everybody. I want to reach everyone. But there's a saying that goes, if your target audience is everyone, you're going to reach no one. And a brand is usually going to get a better return on investment working with a creator with fewer followers, but a really dialed in specific niche, over a creator with a massive audience, but is more of a generalist. Brands have really clear target demographics, with a lot actually having a customer avatar where they've narrowed down what their target customer looks like, what they do for a living, how much money they make, what they like to do for fun on weekends. So when they're looking for an influencer to partner with, they want to make sure that that influencer is speaking to at least some of the shared qualities that their ideal audience has. And for a brand to be able to successfully identify your audience, you need to be pretty clear on who your audience is too. Are you speaking to people who are looking for the best product on a budget, or are you speaking to people who want and can afford luxury? Are you primarily speaking to men, to women, to teenagers, to baby boomers? If you don't know, the brand will probably not know either. And the third thing that might be preventing you from landing those collaborations, the brands aren't quite convinced that they see themselves in your content. And this can come in a couple different forms: quality, aesthetic, feel. So first, even though social content is moving into this less curated space, brands still want quality content from you. And this isn't always tied back to high production value with studio lights and the fanciest of cameras. But your content does need to meet a sort of minimum quality threshold. Decent audio, good lighting, clarity, and not too much busyness and distraction. When a brand is scrolling through your feed, they want to be able to envision their product in your content. And if the quality isn't to their standards, they're not going to want to pay to have their product in that environment. There's a reason why a lot of the briefs that I receive as an influencer say things like, make sure that our label is in focus, not blurry. There's no light reflection on it. They want to make sure that their product looks good in your content. Something else I see from a lot of aspiring content creators is the use of filters. And the reality is that these filters really do diminish the quality of your content. You lose a lot of that clarity and crispness. There is also a more sinister side to a brand not seeing themselves in your content. And it comes down to your content or you just not being the right fit. And the truth is, the right fit, just like in the workplace, can have a lot of discriminatory meaning behind it. We talked earlier about brands having their customer avatar. A lot of the times this avatar is narrowed down to gender, race, class, and a number of other physical qualities. So even if a brand might not come out and say it, you might not be the right fit for a brand aesthetically. And unfortunately, if that's the case, there's nothing we can do. It's out of our control. We just got to keep plugging ahead and doing our best to get on the radars of the brands that we are the right fit for and that value us and our individuality. But overall, I challenge us as creators to look at our content and our online presence a little bit more critically. Brands don't automatically fall at our feet with money just because we exist. A great way to get a feel for if a brand can see themselves in your content or not is to check out their pages. Could the content you post fit pretty seamlessly on their page? If not, why not? Go through the brand's tagged section. Usually you can find an example of some of the past work they've done with influencers. Definitely not saying that you should copy and paste or that you should be trying to squish yourself into a mold, but there is a reason the brands work with the creators that they do. I really hope taking this all into consideration helps you monetize your content and reach your dream brands. And for when the brand deals start rolling in, you'll want to make sure you've priced yourself accordingly. Watch this next to help determine your influencer rates. If you enjoyed this video, definitely consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps immensely to support this channel. It tells YouTube I'm doing an okay job and will share this video with more people. Thanks for watching, and until next time.